Peace, love, wellness, and greatness. It's your boy Monte. You know what it is. You know what I do. You know how it gets down, aka Unc. We're gonna get in there, guys. We're gonna talk serious business about why it is that you have such a difficult time breaking those habits. We'll let some people come into the feed before we get into that conversation. As soon as they get in the feed, welcome to the feed. Give a shout out to yourself. How you doing? What's going on with you? Hopefully you're making things happen, work for the best. We're dealing with that. I'm letting a few people come into the feed. We're dealing with that. Why it's so hard for you to break habits, and why it's so hard for us to break habits. It has a lot more to do with what we're operating from, as far as our vibration, our lower frequencies, our lower centers of energy. You understand what I'm saying? Many of you don't want to hear that type of talk because you think it's something that's what's that word that I'm looking for? Ethereal or something like that. I may be pronouncing that wrong, but it's a true. What's up, Renee? It's a true statement that many of us are actually vibrating at low frequencies. Now, what does that mean? What's up, Sonny B? What's going on? I'm doing good. Now, what does that actually mean? That means a lot, and why this is important to our inability to break habits. I'll break it down for you as soon as I get moving in that right direction. All right. What's up, Malina? What's up, V? You know I have trouble pronouncing that name, so we're gonna keep it at V. It's been a minute, but I'm gonna break it down, guys, and let you understand why it is so hard for us to break these habits. We'll give people another minute or so, and then I'm gonna get right into it. They can catch it on the rebound. You know what I mean? Hope you guys are doing well, Renee, Sonny B, and V. I'm doing good, making things happen. I put my email down here again, guys, so that we can get anybody that needs to email me. You do that. What's up, my cousin? I went just talking about this. Oh, no doubt about it, Renee. It's real talk. You know what I mean? It's real talk. And like I said, what I'm gonna be dealing with right now is we're gonna be dealing with like the vibrational frequencies that each of us carry. This is real talk. This is nothing that's I'm doing well, V. This is nothing that is out of the realm of the human being's actual being. You know what I mean? This is something that we are not aware of. Most of us are not. So let's break it down, guys. So many of us, you find many individuals it's so hard for individuals to break habits, myself included. This means that there's something going on that's keeping us from being able to be master of what it is we want to be master of. And we are the masters of ourselves if we only knew how to master ourselves, so to speak. I know that's almost like double talk, but here's the thing, guys. We have centers of energy that is stored in the body. And many of you who are familiar with yoga, etc., understand these type of things. But in the lower center, which is the reproductive center of the body, that's where most of the energy is in the body is stored. Now, that energy can move up the ladder of the energy centers, but you have to be activated in certain things when it comes to your brain, your mind, what it is that you're doing in order to raise the frequency from which you're operating. So a lot of things are able to really stimulate the lower frequencies, and the lowest frequency, which is, like I said, a reproductive, which is absolutely necessary for us. But this is where most of our energy is contained. And these things are activated easily. Therefore, if the lower energies are being activated on a regular basis, then you're not thinking from a higher position. And it makes it that much more difficult to be able to break certain habits, because habits are usually those things that carry lower frequencies when we engage in. You understand what I'm saying? So the ideal is this. Most of the things that we are addicted to are low frequency things. They are material things. They are things that we can actually get our hands on, that we can actually, corral and have in our possession. Most of those things. Now, the addiction to those things ends up causing us a lot of damage along the way. In order to be able to break those addictions more easily, we have to be able to rise out of our low frequency being, meaning most of us are operating from the lower frequency. Not saying that you're out here trying to engage in sexual activities, etc., but the low frequency centers are the reproductive center, the hunger center, and the ego center. You understand what I'm saying? Then right above that, you start to get into higher frequencies. So as far as the heart, the throat, and the penile system, you know what I mean? Penile gland. So these things are very, very important when it comes to activating the higher centers in order for you to be able to break the habits that you are into. So you have to break the frequency from which you are vibrating, so to speak. So those things that are lower frequencies, such as most material things that you're going to come across, are going to incite the lower energy centers, whether that be sexual, hunger, or something egotistical. And these things are hard to break. You have to be able to come out of that realm of energy, the lower frequency centers, in order to be able to really tackle what it is that you're dealing with, because you need to be at a higher vibrating frequency, so to speak. They say that frequencies carry information. So all frequencies carry information. All energy produces frequencies which carry information and vibration. You understand what I'm saying? So this is why these things are one of the most difficult things to break free from when you're dealing with those type of things. You know what I mean? So again, we have to be aware of what is how where our energy is stored, how we so-called vibrating on a particular day at any particular time. Are we dealing with situations that keep us in low frequency, therefore making it almost impossible to break certain habits? Also, what they call these the survival centers of the body, the lower centers of the body, the reproductive, the hunger center, and the ego center. You know what I mean? So if we're living in survival and the emotions of survival, far as you know what I mean, anger, jealousy, we touched on this before, bitterness, um, envy, all those things that keep us vibrating at low frequencies, then it's almost impossible for us to break certain habits that we have developed that are low frequency habits. So we want to develop more high frequency habits, like more mindfulness. This is why I'm not religious, but prayer. If you're sincere in your prayer and you're sincere in trying to go inward in order to reach outward, in order to better yourself, this is why prayer can be sort of a meditative process. I do more of meditation, more of those things that have to deal with the meditative process than I do as far as prayer is concerned. So meditation also is able to raise the frequency. It also is able to break you from the connections to the lower centers where all the energy is connected, where all the other uh, things that are so hard to break are vibrating. And then you start to think and move and operate on a higher level. This allows you to really deal with things that have a hold on you, because you become more conscious, more aware, and then you're able to enact certain things that you would not be able to enact at lower frequency levels. So this is why you must be able to raise your frequency. This is why when individuals come in and you feel the energy is real. You know what I mean? We've been misguided into believing that it's all about the physical sight or the hearing, the tasting, and so forth. Yes, that's part of the physical, but there's something that's beneath us that's driving us, that has energy, and that is our being. Everything about us is energy and electrical as well as physical. So we have to understand how these things operate as well in order to get a better understanding of why we may struggle with what we may struggle with. And then once we get to a certain level, we're able to deal with almost anything. You know what I mean? What's up, Simply Natural? I see you in the house. Yeah, so that's basically what we're dealing with, guys. We're just dealing with the idea of getting yourself out of those lower energy centers, recognizing that this is where most of us are vibrating because it's where most of the energy is stored for good reason. We have to reproduce in order for us to be here. Now it's been switched over to certain different things, you know what I mean? But the primary reason for us having our reproductive organs is for us to reproduce, period. And then everything else comes after that. So this is where the energy is always really stored. Then, of course, after we've mastered the reproduction, we're going to have to eat in order to sustain the life so that we can reproduce. So a lot of energy is stored in that second center. And the third center is more so about the ego, survival, etc. All these are the lower centers of the body, but they have a lot of energy and they are easily accessed on a daily basis. So we have to be able to rise above those energies in order to be able to break habits and master what it is that we need to master within ourselves in order to allow us to move in those directions. You know what I mean? So no doubt about that. So again, guys, we're not going to stay long. Stay about 4 more minutes. But basically, this is what I'm dealing with, guys. You want to be able to raise your energy. You want to be able to recognize that the bulk of your energy is stored in those lower centers, and you want to raise that energy to a higher level. A few things that you can do in order to accomplish that would be, again, the meditation. For those of you who pray sincere prayer, I think that will help you as well. Meditation and just being conscious and aware of the fact that you do have centers of energy in the body that reacts to vibrations and that reacts to frequencies. You understand what I'm saying? So whatever it is given off, music in general, more of the hip hop, etc., really activates the lower centers of the body. You know what I mean? Because of the low beat, etc., and sometimes of the lyrics. And again, I'm a hip hop fan, so don't get it twisted. Not all hip hop, but at the end of the day, the lower beat, the lower frequencies of those beat really enact the lower centers of the body where all the energy is at. This is one reason that for those of you who are familiar with hip hop, that so many other of the European race now love hip hop. It was able to break the barrier of the black and white. When I was growing up, a few people who were white listened to the hip hop, etc. Now they are the predominant listeners of the hip hop, as far as we listen to it as well, number wise, because there's more of them than it is us in America. So at the end of the day, that frequency is able to cross barriers, and that's why hip hop has become the number one genre in the world, because it's able to enact those lower frequencies, which which carry most of our energy, which is easily accessed. That's why one of the reasons why hip hop has been so successful. You know what I mean? And I ain't mad at it in that degree. Yeah, bad eating habits. It's a number of things that lower the frequency of the body. You know what I mean? Bad eating habits would definitely be one of those things, because if it's affecting low frequency can be lowered as well if you're not operating, if your body's not operating efficiently. You understand what I'm saying? If the energy that you're getting is, or the food that you're eating is producing certain types of inflammations or any type of acidic response, it's definitely going to lower the frequency. So those things that we take in not only deal with the frequency, also those things that we hear, see, that we touch, and that we have become accustomed to redoing in our own brain lowers the frequency if you're not conscious of what it is that you're doing. You know what I mean? So all these things can be considered frequency lowering things. You know what I mean? Because again, no way can you really be at a higher frequency when your body is dealing with some type of inflammation or acidic response from foods that are not good for the body. You understand what I'm saying? And the body and the brain are connected are super connected. You know what I mean? Through the nervous system, etc. So the signals that are being sent down, the signals that are being sent up, activate certain regions of the brain, etc., causes certain things to be done in the body. So, of course, anything that you're doing that is damaging the body is going to be lowering the frequency. Now, being that your brain and mind is so powerful, even though you may eat terrible food, if you are still meditating and if you are able to recognize what things uh, manipulate the energy centers, especially the lower energy centers, then you'll start to avoid those type of things. And once you learn what helps to elevate the energy system, such as breathing techniques can actually uh, allow the energy to move up from those lower centers. They've learned how to actually do breathing that allows the spinal fluid that's in the lower part of the spine, in that lower region of the body, to be pushed upward. And the spinal fluid carries a lot of the energy, the information, and etc., and moves that stuff up into the brain, and it activates the pineal gland as far as the energy, the electricity, etc. So there's a lot of things going on that we can do in order to vibrate at a higher frequency once we start to practice and become mindful of what it is that we're doing on a daily basis. So it's a lot of stuff, you know what I mean? A lot of people think this stuff is spooky, etc., but they just don't understand the complexity of the human body underneath the skin and the bones, the real human. Like, this is what we're riding in, you know what I mean? And it's magnificent, of course. But at the end of the day, it's the inside that is producing all the things that keep you alive. And it's the inside that is amazingly intricate and has a lot of things that we just don't understand because we're so focused on the physical. You know what I mean? So again, guys, I ain't gonna stay long. I appreciate you guys coming in. You know what I mean? We'll do a little bit more stuff on this dealing with that. But again, in breaking habits, guys, is much more it's something that can be done, especially a lot easier once you start to recognize how to protect your energy and how to not allow those energy systems to be enacted at will because of what it is that you're exposing yourself to. All right. So I'm sending you guys peace and love. Peace.